welcome to our newscast. I'm Daniel Che. Let's start with the headlines. North Korea's Mount Kumgang resort echoed with cries and laughter as hundreds of South Koreans finally meet families they have not seen since the end of the Korean War. Defense ministers of South Korea and Japan meet to discuss military issues, including the changes in Japan's military that expand its forces' role abroad. The Seoul International Aerospace and Defense Exhibition is on, designed to enhance the status of Korea's defense industries and boost exports of domestic defense technologies overseas. This year's event brings together companies from 32 countries. Families who haven't seen each other since the Korean War divided them met for the first time in more than half a century at Mount Kumgang Resort in North Korea this afternoon. For more, we connect to our Connie Kim at the Inter-Korean Dialogue headquarters in Seoul. Connie, I hear the first family meeting ended a while ago.
Well, Daniel, I'm at the Inter-Korean headquarters dialogue in Seoul, and we've been faxed a description of the family reunion event. Now, about 30 minutes ago, the first emotional meeting between the families was ended about 30 minutes ago, and a total of 389 South Koreans sat down with their North Korean families for about 2 hours. I hear it was filled with tears and laughter, as you can imagine, as those gathered saw the faces of their loved ones for the first time since the war tore them apart. People were looking at pictures, wiping away tears and holding each other's hands as they reminisced about the past. All of the families at the event had heartbreaking stories to tell, like 88-year-old father Lee Hung-jong and his daughter Lee Jung-suk, who is now 68. The two had a hard time recognizing each other as they were separated when the daughter was just 2 years old. However, their eyes soon filled with tears when Lee Hung-jong's brother recognized him. It was certainly an emotional event for the family who spent the next couple of hours trying to make up for the 60 decades of lost time.
Well, Connie, I imagine it was an extremely emotional time for those at today's event. Could you give us a rundown of the schedule for the rest of the week?
Well, Daniel, as you know, this is the 20th round of reunions for families separated by the Korean War. Now, the event is composed of 2 sessions, with the first spreading out for 3 days. The families are scheduled to meet 6 times for 2 hours each, and in about an hour, the families will sit down for dinner. Tomorrow, they will have 3 meeting sessions, starting with closed-door meetings, where the families will have some time with their loved ones, a luncheon, and a group meeting. Now, over the 3 days, they will meet a total of 12 hours, which is an hour more than last time with the request from South Korea. Now, this is not much time for the families, especially because they won't know when or if they'll get to see each other again. And the biggest concern is that most of the remaining war-separated families are in their 80s and 90s, showing how pressing it is to hold these meetings on a regular basis. This has been Connie Kim reporting live from the Inter-Korean Dialogue headquarters in Seoul.
Thank you for that report, Connie. Moving on, Korea's rival parties spoke in rare unison on reunions for war-separated families, saying they should take place on a regular basis. Park Ji-won has more.
Korea's rival parties have finally found something to agree on. Speaking on Tuesday, the first day of a round of reunions for war-separated families, the 2 main parties called for the reunions to be a regular event. The ruling Saenuri party characterized the matter as an urgent one that has remained unresolved for more than half a century, and asked the government to seek ways to increase the number of reunions in the future.
We hope these reunions will become a stepping stone to an ultimate resolution of this issue for war-separated families, and also to inter-Korean confidence building and reconciliation for more cooperation.
The main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy party echoed the sentiment and urged the government to hold inter-Korean talks to discuss the matter.
We need to establish a stable peace by increasing the number of peaceful inter-Korean exchanges if a peaceful reunification is not possible now. Making the reunions of war-separated families a regular event is the first step in this kind of peaceful coexistence and exchange. We should hold reunions on a regular basis.
The party pointed out that 16 reunions were held over 10 years under the liberal administrations of the late presidents Kim Dae-jung and Roh Moo-hyun, while only 4 reunions were held over the next 8 years under the conservative administrations of Lee Myung-bak and Park Geun-hye. The party also emphasized the need for more inter-Korean exchanges. Park Ji-won, Arirang News.
President Park Geunhye will address the National Assembly next week for the third straight year. According to National Assembly Speaker Geunhye at a seminar on Tuesday, the president will be there next Tuesday to explain the government's budget plan and the policy goals for next year. President Park has addressed the parliament every year since taking office in 2013, becoming the first Korean leader to do so. None of her predecessors have addressed the National Assembly more than once during their term. The National Intelligence Service said Tuesday that North Korea is in the process of preparing for another nuclear test, but the test itself was not imminent. During a parliamentary audit of the nation's top spy agency, officials added Pyongyang is cautious about another round of nuclear tests as China is against it. The spy agency also speculated that the regime has not yet miniaturized its nuclear warheads and is not just yet ready for another round of nuclear testing. The regime conducted the last nuclear test in 2013, which drew international condemnation and UN sanctions. Japan says it will seek South Korea's approval to deploy its self-defense forces abroad. This comes during a defense ministerial meeting between South Korea's defense minister Han Min-gu and his Japanese counterpart Gen Nakatani on Tuesday. Han reaffirmed South Korea's stance that Japan needs prior approval from Korea before deploying Japanese forces on the Korean peninsula. Nakatani agreed to follow the international law that requires prior consent from the country to dispatch troops abroad. The two ministers also discussed ways to boost defense cooperation against North Korea and other bilateral security issues surrounding the region. Korea's foreign ministry has condemned the latest visit by a large group of Japanese lawmakers to a controversial shrine that honors the country's war dead, including 14 Class A war criminals. Seoul-based Yonhap News reports that a foreign ministry spokesperson said paying homage at the Yasukuni Shrine is no different from glorifying Japan's forceful colonization and war aggression. According to the Japan Times, 73 lawmakers from Japan's ruling party and 96 from other parties visited the shrine to mark the last day of the country's four-day autumn festival. The group visit comes with 3 cabinet members, including the latest by the demographic issues minister who visited the shrine over the weekend, while Prime Minister Shinzo Abe sent an offering. Chinese President Xi Jinping has received an unprecedented welcome by the British government and the royal family. The two nations plan to strengthen economic ties during the Chinese leader's 4-day visit. Lee Soo-eun tells us more.
Chinese President Xi Jinping was greeted by the British Foreign Minister on the red carpet of Heathrow Airport on Monday. It's the first time in 10 years that a Chinese head of state has visited London. President Xi will receive a full-scale ceremonial welcome and state luncheon. He will stay at Buckingham Palace on Tuesday night as a guest of Queen Elizabeth II. It's an unprecedented welcome on Britain's part. Xi's 4-day visit is expected to strengthen bilateral economic ties.
We expect this visit will be a new milestone and open a golden era of China-UK relations.
The two nations are expected to strike deals on Chinese investment in a nuclear power station in Britain, as well as tariffs on Chinese steel imports to help Britain's struggling steelmakers.
Of course, we'll raise all these issues. I mean, that is what our relationship with China is all about. It is at such a high level that there's no subject off the table, and all of these issues, including the steel industry, of course, will be discussed.
While there are supporters who back the economic focus, activists have condemned the British government for turning a blind eye to China's human rights record.
This is not a country that we feel that we should be allowing to get away with the kind of human rights abuse that our government seems so eager to ignore in the name of economic growth.
A number of activist groups plan to protest against Xi during his parade to the Royal Palace on Tuesday, London time. Lee Soo-eun, Arirang News.
As complaints about the emissions scandal surrounding Volkswagen cars continues to grow, Korean customers are also seeking legal action. One group plans to file a class action lawsuit in the U.S. this week. Kim Min-ji brings us the latest.
The legal battles are just beginning. Korean owners of Volkswagen cars tied up in the emissions cheating scandal are signing up to sue. So far, a total of 695 people in Korea have initiated legal action in 4 separate suits in the U.S. Patent Law, the Korean law firm representing Volkswagen customers, says it will partner with global law firm Quinn Emanuel to sue Volkswagen's German headquarters, as well as the company's U.S. division and a factory in Tennessee. The Korean customers in the case are seeking a refund for the purchase price, plus compensation for the damages of $26,000 and up.
We've received applications for more than 4,000 people, so the number of plaintiffs is expected to rise. The class action involves the Passat, produced in the US, as well as models made in Germany. While we expect we'll have a high chance of winning, it's more about the compensation.
While the scandal continues to rattle the company, Volkswagen Korea says an additional 4,500 vehicles with the older and higher emissions-prone Euro 5 engines will be subject to recall. The company initially said that it would recall 121,000 cars that were already sold, though a recall schedule hasn't been set. That brings a total to roughly 125,000 and involves 28 models. These are vehicles the company has admitted to having fitted with a defeat device to cheat U.S. emissions tests. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
The latest military technologies are being displayed at a huge defense exhibition in Seoul this week. Kim Hyun-bin takes us to the ADEX 2015, where companies working with defense industries around the world have gathered.
If you are interested in the latest military hardware, the Seoul International Aerospace and Defense Exhibition 2015 is the place to be. This event kicked off Tuesday with an exciting air show from the Korea Air Force's Black Eagle Squad, which performed a spectacle of aerial maneuvers using Korean-made T-50 fighter jets. Even a U.S. F-22 Raptor made a rare flying appearance.
Well, we're here to really as a thank you to the people of Korea for hosting U.S. forces here on the peninsula, as well as to strengthen our joint relationship with the Republic of Korea Air Force and the military in general.
The event showcased scores of state-of-the-art weaponry, including Korea's missiles and heavy artillery.
The ADEX plays 2 key roles. It enhances the status of Korea's defense industries and aims to export domestic defense technologies overseas.
A total of 386 firms from 32 countries are showcasing their latest weapons developments in hopes of sealing lucrative deals with buyers. Many foreign firms are here to compete for a chance to implement their technology into the Korean military. And at the top of the list is Korea's high-profile indigenous combat plane project.
First of all, we are very glad that we have the opportunity to exhibit the engine here. We are coming to offer the engine for the faxed program. We have been here last year. We understand now the selection process comes to the final.
This year's Aerospace and Defense Exhibition, which is the largest in Northeast Asia to date, will run for 6 days at the Seoul airport through to October 25th. Kim Hyun-bin, Arirang News.
Korea's shipbuilding industry, once reigning leaders of the world, ranked 3rd in the world in the 3rd quarter. But industry insiders believe even that trend won't last for long. Shin Se-min files this report from World Ocean Forum in Busan.
Outpaced by their Chinese and Japanese rivals, Korean shipbuilders suffered big losses in the 3rd quarter, casting a long shadow over the country that was once the global industry leader. According to data from UK-based Clarkson Research Services, Korean shipyards bagged new orders totaling 2.1 million compensated gross tons last month. That's far behind China's nearly 3.5 million CGTs and Japan's nearly 2.4 CGTs. The losses for Korea stem mainly from an oversupply, weak financing, and lower shipping rates. And on top of that, falling global crude oil prices prompted oil refineries to cut spending by delaying or canceling orders for offshore production facilities, including drill ships. But the newly elected Secretary General of the International Maritime Organization believes Korea's sandwiched industry has the potential to overcome its difficulties. Speaking at this year's annual World Ocean Forum, he said Korea's shipbuilding industry could help solidify the country's position in the global maritime economy.
I believe, the Korean shipbuilding industry need to enhance their efforts for research and development in terms of technological development is the key to overcome competitiveness, to keep competitiveness over other rival shipbuilding industry and the nations.
He added that coordination among research centers and related ministries could help promote Korea's maritime industry in the long run. But things may not be as dark as they seem for the country's shipbuilders. Some experts point out Korea's Chinese competitors are losing steam due to enhanced global environmental regulations, as the majority of the vessels made in China still run on diesel engines, forcing an increasing number of China's potential clients to turn away. 신세민, Arirang News, Busan.
That's all from us for now. Do join us at 10 p.m. Korea time for more. Thank you for watching.